How does the real estate market look for multifamily today?
Man, it looks really bad. Oh my God. See Robert Kiyosaki talking about maybe crypto is actually going to come out on top. Maybe. I don't know. The guy from that movie, the guy with the glass eye, I forgot his name. He's a genius, and he was talking about there's going to be a huge crash. It seems
the Big Short guy?
The Big Short guy.
Yeah,
Michael
Burry?
Yeah. It seems to me every time that these guys talk, and then they put fear into everybody. Oh, here you go. It's all gloom and doom and stuff like that. We find more deals. Actually, we're finding more deals right now. We were finding more deals than in the first quarter of 2022. I think that's because everybody's just kind of like very in tune with like rising interest rates and stuff like that, especially sellers. If you own multifamily, it's your value is going to change a little more fluidly than in residential, right? So you always kind of want to know, okay, how much is my property worth? And maybe, it doesn't obviously change as much as stocks does, but it certainly does go up if, let's say, if cap rates compress, their values go up, or maybe if a neighborhood turns out to be better than others, then obviously that's going to make property valuable. So it's actually very fluid, and sellers are very in tune with how much their property is worth. And so when they start thinking negatively about their own properties, it's the time to strike, right? Like I always say, it's always a good time to buy a good deal. So we were buying in the height of 2019, we were buying in 2020 and 2021. It's just we were finding good deals, right? And so I think it just takes a little creativity in financing and in rehabbing and owning so that you can maximize the value of your property. Yeah.
And I was going to say financing is probably key right now, right? I think what people need to realize, what we do, it's all relationship driven, right? So you have to have the right team, you have to have the right vendors in order to be able to execute. But I think that the fundamentals are still there. Yeah, who knows what the time's going to tell, if there's going to be a recession, how long is it, how deep is it going to be? Nobody really knows. Nobody has a crystal ball, right? But as Boris has mentioned, right, there's always good times to find a good deal. Right, so you have to underwrite to interest rates that are elevated, right? And you just need to account for that. But the one thing that's helping the market right now is rents are also going up too, right? So they kind of offsets your expenses going up because your revenue's going up at the same time, and in most cases even higher. Yeah, my interest rate's gone up 200 basis points, but instead of 5% rent growth, I'm seeing 15 to 20% in multiple markets. So you got to take that into consideration. But the one thing that really helps investors out is buying in the right areas too. Right, so we invest in Houston, we invest in Texas, we invest in Florida and Georgia. That's just not because I'm just throwing a dart at a map of the United States. It's because there's population growth there, there's job growth, there's typically landlord friendly and tax friendly laws that kind of help make the investments and juice the investments. And those are things that you guys need to look at when you're investing into real estate, right? It's all about location, location, location. And so you invest in the right markets, and that's going to also help offset any kind of macroeconomic issues that they might be trying to, the doom and gloom of the news cycle, it's daily, right? Doom and gloom sells. It's not all going to be sunshine and rainbows, right? Because nobody's going to be tuning into that. They want to show the 1,000-point swing on the Dow and all that stuff too, right? And I'd also say that for people that look at that stuff and like maybe you got a stock portfolio, and I get that you have the diversification, right? It was already a little bit inflated as it is, so maybe we're kind of getting back down to the levels where it should have been, right? So there's a little bit of a contrarian view, take it for what it's worth, but don't believe everything that you hear in the news, right? There are some good fundamentals that are still happening in real estate and in the economy and multifamily.
Yeah, a couple other fundamentals I'd like to point out is, with less buyers out there getting priced out of the market, they still have to live. Now, if they own, this is mainly for first-time home buyers, they're going to be renters. They're going to be renters for longer, and there's a lot more renters behind them because millennials are just now getting their home buying age, but they're not buying. But you've got Gen Z. So millennials have been the largest demographic in American history, and Gen Z is right behind them. The oldest of them are 21 years old, and they're even bigger than millennials. Like, there's a ton of demand coming onto the market, which is good for landlords.